So hello you guys and welcome back to my channel again. If you have even left, it's probably been like an hour since I uploaded the Daryl Dixon reaction. Welcome back. So as you know, San Diego Comic-Con was this weekend, or is this weekend, and we get spoiled with trailers and teasers and snippets and interviews, and I love it. I love to sit on my bed and cry about how I'm not there and scroll through Twitter and live vicariously to other people. I've said it for years, but I've got to get my ass to that convention some year. I really do. I've wanted to go for fucking ages and I've never made it over there. There's some fucker on a motorbike outside my window, very happy about the fact he has a bike. Unless you are Norman Reedus, which I highly doubt. Shut up. So we got the trailers. We're about to do a reaction for the trailer for Dead City, do a little breakdown, talk about it. Have a little breakdown probably because I've missed these characters. Like I mentioned in my last reaction video, my brother's band Lightarian just dropped a brand new EP. It's called Can We Be the Band You Used to Love. It's on all streaming services and platforms. If you could go stream that, I'd really appreciate it. Check it out, give them some love because they are so fucking talented. It's very kind of early days U2 mixed with a bit of The Cure, mixed with a bit of Prince, but with a modern twist. That's a lot of information to throw at you, I know. Twitter, Instagram, Patreon, anywhere you can find me is also in the description. Let's go with Dead City. Ooh, this is a much shorter trailer.
The old world was rigged.
I love her so much.
Designed to rip us apart. That was the world.
He's entered his Rocky boxing era? I just got chills on my ribs! Oh, you majestic little bastards. So he's back in Negan mode.
It's cost me a lot. Almost everything.
You wanted
Sons of Anarchy dude!
Now you want to save his life.
Oh yeah, the fucking Croat.
It's different now.
When I tell you I'm excited for this season, it's actually kind of sickening. I felt my whole stomach flip when I saw that motherfucker pick up Negan and have that leather jacket on again. We've seen him dance around the circumference of the idea of old Negan a few times throughout The Walking Dead. A few times, like, that he'd kind of threatened to go back for one reason or another, but he'd always, like, pull himself back. He's the kind of character who, listen. I love talking about Negan because I just think it's so interesting how people respond to him. Somebody who is a villain, was a villain, who had character development and grew and changed as a character. I always argue one, character redemption is not needed or necessary with every character. Growth is, but redemption, not necessarily. It's not needed. And two, I'm not sure that it's possible for every character. Like Negan, listen, he's done bad shit. We all know it. He was like villain. We did get his backstory. We did find out why he was the way he was. We did see him do good. He did good deeds later on in The Walking Dead. You cannot deny it. It was a story point of the show. He did good deeds. It doesn't wash away what he did, and it doesn't necessarily make him a good character. But I think that's something that is so interesting about him. That in modern day Walking Dead terms, he does kind of exist in this very strange grey area where you have people, like fans or viewers, insisting that he's changed, he's different now, that he technically did his time. I mean, he spent forever locked up on The Walking Dead. We've seen him do good things, but at the same time, does that offset what he did? Why people have such strong hatred against him? And then you got to bring Maggie into that equation too. We have seen her back and forth on Negan so fucking much. I mean, she's the reason that he's kind of still alive to begin with. Well, she's part of it. You know, when Rick and Michonne decided to make an example out of him, there was a lot of conflict within the group back on The Walking Dead. I say as if you guys don't know. But like to refresh memories a bit, you remember that scene where Negan's locked up in the cell and Maggie goes into him to kill him. And she specifically says it to him like, you know, I came in here, what was it, to kill Negan, but I can see he's dead already. She said something along those lines. I'm paraphrasing. Negan was like broken in that cell, begging her to like end it. And she didn't, because I think she could see that him being alive caused him more pain than simply putting an end to it all, helping him depart the land of the living, or making him depart the land of the living. And also you to take into account that like that's what he wanted at that point, was to no longer be here, and her like denying him of that was also like a big fuck you, like you're gonna live what you did, and you're gonna see the effects of what you did. So I think that was I mean, if it was me, would I have done that? No, I don't think so. I think I would have straight up just like bashed his head against the railings until he was no longer like around, you know. But that's just me in a fictional setting with fictional characters, of course, we're talking about. But the discourse around Negan and Maggie has always been interesting because like she back and forths on it, he back and forths on it. She's never gonna fucking like him. She is never going to want to be his friend. We've seen them team up in the past before for reasons. Like there was reasons as to why they had to. But like I mentioned or touched on a little bit ago, Negan always had the ghost of Negan hanging over him. So I think season 2 is going to be so interesting to see him have to step back into that role, to see him have to go back there. Will it stick this time? Will he become drunk on the power? Will he become like a little bit too like, oh, like shit, I missed this? Because we saw him have a lot of realizations in season 1. We saw him have a lot of like, oh shit, epiphany moments, especially with the Croat. Like him looking at the Croat and going, you were a follower of mine. Like where did you get this mentality from? And it being like holding up a mirror to him like, you. Like he got it from you, dude. He did go a bit off the walls crazy with it, the Croat, and really put his own unique spin on things. But I think Negan had to come to terms with the fact that his impact was a lot deeper than he thought it was. And then you bring Herschel into the storyline as well, Glenn and Maggie's kid. And the fact that him just being there, him just being around is a reminder constantly, both for Negan and Maggie, as to what happened, as to why his dad isn't around anymore, why Glenn isn't here anymore. Or Abraham. And it always upsets me when I hear people talk about Glenn, the Glenn death, but not Abraham. Abraham was there too. And Abraham also did not make it out of that scene. I would honestly like Herschel, especially because we got that big heart-to-heart with Herschel and Maggie at the end of season 1, where Herschel like said, he kind of said to Maggie, like, you know, you need to make up your mind about him. You kind of see through me. You feel like you're not really here sometimes. You're obsessed with, like, the whole Negan situation. I feel like that was a little bit of a wake-up call to Maggie, but at the same time, the thing is unresolved. She can't just put it in a little box and put it away somewhere and deal with it or not deal with it. It's something that she has to live with every day, and grief is very strange, and it can last a lifetime. So I don't blame her for constantly being confronted with the fact that either she hasn't dealt with it or she's changing her mind onto how to deal with it or how to look at Negan. Like I said, she's never going to be his friends. They're never going to go on like a true buddy trip where they're like, let's bake cookies and talk. We have seen them have meaningful conversations before. We have seen them connect before on a human level, not a friend level. So I think in terms of Negan, I don't think we're going to lose him this season, to be honest with you. I don't think we're going to lose Maggie this season. If Negan ever has an end, I could see it being Herschel. I could see Herschel just fucking snapping someday and being like, do you know what? I'm sick of this shit. You've pissed me off long enough. Good night. And I think that would be very poetic. Maggie has every right to be mad as hell at him and never be okay with it. And yeah, it can get a little bit repetitive sometimes. And you hear people say things like, why doesn't she just get over it? And it's like, in terms of storyline plot point, I can understand why people might tire of the Negan and Maggie dynamic. But at the same time, this is kind of the Negan and Maggie show. So if you're tired of that dynamic, I don't really get why you're watching or interacting with the show. But at the same time, it is an interesting dynamic. It's the driving force of the show. Are they going to snap? When are they going to snap? Which one is going to like turn on the other one first? And I think, I don't know. I feel like there's so much more that could be developed and discovered between the two of them that doesn't necessarily end in a truce. I don't know if something like that's possible for them. I really don't know if they can ever end up being truly friends or water under the bridge, because it's not like he fucking stepped on her dinner, you know what I mean? It's not like he fucking broke a window in her house. He broke her heart and her family when he took Glenn. So, but I always do stand by the point that I feel like shows need characters like Negan. You see characters like Negan get a lot of hate, obviously, because he's the fucking bad guy. He is a villain. Whether he's changed since the height of the Negan days, he still is a villainous character, to me, in my opinion. Even though, yes, he's changed, yes, there's been growth, it's possible. I don't think redemption is necessarily needed. I think some people can just be a little bit dark and twisted just cause, in my opinion. But like, the response that Negan gets is one of the most interesting to me to watch online, because it's like, I think characters like that are needed. If you don't have conflict in a show, if you don't have that character who is either bad or evil or that exists in the grey area and does dark shit, you have nothing to offset or grind against your main heroes, your main protagonists, your characters that you root for, that you love. Don't get me wrong, I know people love villainous characters too, and they really get behind them, whatever. But you do need that conflict, otherwise it's just flat. It's just bland. If you don't have someone to contrast the good morally good characters, then what have you? And I just do think it's been so interesting watching the aftermath of, especially season 1 of Dead City, and how people have responded to it, and how people have, I mean, I've seen people, like, you know, like I said earlier, taking shots at Maggie, being like, get over it, which is a fucking wild take. I'm like, dude, she has to live with this forever. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, if you can't forgive him, then just do something about it. I can understand that take. I'm like, dude, just like, I don't know, suffocate him with a pillow a little bit in the middle of the night and you might feel better. I can get that. But then at the same time, I see people like totally against Negan, being like, why is he still here? Why do we still need him? And it's like, well, if you take Negan out of Dead City, it takes a lot of the conflict. It takes an awful lot of the story and a lot of the reasoning behind Maggie doing what she does, and, you know, Herschel and stuff like that, and especially the Croat, because the Croat's major tie-in to this was Negan. So I really like the show. I think it's a really interesting, like, example of just a show that is filled with conflict and tension and hatred and spite and, like, regret and remorse and shame. It handles topics that you don't really see at the straight up forefront of most shows. You know, most shows, they're a little bit lighter. You have, like, romance thrown in. You have, you might have lighter, sillier moments. And I feel like, listen, I've seen people shipping Negan and Maggie, and I am a hardcore ship what you want, ship what you like. You can take the canon storyline and make it whatever you want in your head, but I have never seen them together romantically. In my own head, I'm like, I think that's just fucking crazy. They're both insanely pretty people, but shipping them together is just nuts, in my opinion. So, you know, to have, like, things like hate and revenge and tension be, like, the absolute driving force and at the forefront in your face of a show, I think it's interesting. I really do. And I think, I don't know. I love this show. I love this show. I love the setting. I love the characters. Oh my god. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. That was a much shorter trailer. I feel like it gave us a lot less than the Daryl Dixon trailer gave us, which does make sense. I know that they're either still filming or just after wrapping on Dead City, so the fact they even have a teaser trailer to begin with is nuts. Good for them. Yeah, but I can't wait. I can't wait for these two shows. I've missed them both so much. And yeah, let me know what you thought down below. Let me know if you get what I was trying to say throughout this video or not. I feel like I kind of went into autopilot and just, you know, you show me characters that I love from my favourite shows and I just truly shut down. My mouth kept moving and my mind goes dead. So let me know if you agree with some of the stuff that I touched on. And like I said, the link to my Patreon, Twitter, Instagram, anywhere you can find me is in the description. The link to my brother's band, Laetarian, all the relative links are also in the description down below. If you want to check them out and stream them, I would suggest that you do. Thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you all soon.